Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Fight Pit Podcast, and today we are going over Summerslam 2024, the biggest party of the summer.
Yeah!
Yeah! Speaking of I'm so happy that LA Knight won.
We'll get to that.
We'll get to it, but we needed that.
We needed it.
We needed Logan Paul to get off that. But
it's not even the fact that we needed Logan Paul to get off of it. We needed LA Knight to get on it. Yeah!
But, SummerSlam 2024 has happened. We did say in a previous episode that we were going to be there. Things didn't work out.
Yeah.
We ended up not being able to get there. It was in Cleveland. We live fairly close, so it was one of those things we wanted to do, but it just didn't work out, so...
We'll figure something out in the future.
Yeah, eventually. But, I mean, we watched it. And it was pretty good. I really liked it. It's probably one of the best SummerSlams more recently.
I'd say one of the best Triple H pay-per-views in recent time.
Triple H is knocking everything out of the park.
Woo!
I mean, everything. He is so much better than Vince.
Vince
exponentially.
And the second half of his WWE career started falling off. There's actually been news that his health has been rapidly declining.
Vince?
Yeah. From Linda.
Oh, well.
Which I'm not surprised.
I'd like to say I wish him a speedy recovery, but...
Yeah.
I mean, it's about time.
Honestly, we all saw it coming, the rapid decline. I think it started happening, with the crazy booking that was going on. It's like, there has to be something wrong.
His mental game has been off probably since 2014.
Yeah.
And
it makes sense now that they're saying, his health's on a rapid decline. Well, that makes sense.
I guess that kind of sucks, but...
It's unfortunate, but I mean...
Dude, I was watching the Last Ride documentary recently.
Yeah.
And obviously this was before everything came out about Vince, and he was such a staple in that documentary. It's kind of awkward watching it now. It's like, Undertaker's praising him so much, and it's like, wow, it's crazy. And it's still kind of weird to see, John Cena and Undertaker and all of them still... I don't know if Undertaker, but John Cena says, I love the guy.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. It's so weird. Just a shame, I guess. But, anyway, going to a good topic. SummerSlam. We started off Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
This was a really, really good match.
Yeah, I liked it. I think the main thing that everybody wanted to talk about, though, was just Dominic turning on Rhea, which...
Turning heel when he's already heel.
Yeah, it's such a weird concept.
Such a weird concept, but shows how devilish Dominic is. You're already a part of a heel faction, you turn heel against what is assumed to be the leader of Judgment Day. It's just bro, you are on a different level when it comes to heel work.
Yeah, so essentially what happened in this match was obviously Liv running away from Rhea pretty much the entire time.
Yeah.
Just picking her shots wisely. And Dominic was... I mean, the biggest spot was Rhea gonna hit her with the chair, and Dominic grabbed the chair, and he actually...
He's like, you can't win the title that way, mommy. You can't win the title that way. And she's like, okay.
I mean, at first it was like, okay, is he turning on her? And obviously we didn't know he was going to turn on her, but is he turning on her? And then he was like, okay, well, you can't win the match like this. So we were thinking, okay,
it wasn't the fact that he couldn't win the match that way. It was the fact he was saying you can't win the title that way.
Right.
Because if you're a wrestling fan, you know disqualifications, you can't win the title off of a disqualification. So.
Yeah, so it kind of teased it right there, but I mean, I didn't really expect anything of it. And then after Dominic basically slides the chair in, assumingly, I mean, it's for Rhea, but Liv Morgan is the one that takes advantage of it. I can't remember that name of her finisher. What is it called again?
Oblivion.
Yeah, she hits the Oblivion on Rhea, and I mean, Rhea lands on the chair.
Bro, you missed the key part.
What?
Dominic Mysterio distracted the referee, causing Liv to be able to do that.
Well, I mean, he slid the chair in. It should have been.
Rhea would have been able to use it if Dom didn't distract. I guess Rhea wouldn't have been able to use it, but the ref would have thrown out the chair.
Right.
If Dom wouldn't have distracted the ref. And that's how I knew. I was like, oh, he's
Yeah, it was
now.
such a... It's like he didn't turn on her until after the match, because that kiss cemented, he's not with Rhea anymore. But it was a little weird at first, but I don't know. I really liked that, and I was not expecting it.
I was. I'm just saying. But I also read up on a lot of stuff, and I watch a lot of wrestling YouTubers that go over that kind of stuff, and that's a lot of their expectation was that Dom was gonna cost Rhea in some sort of way. And so I was like, that kind of makes sense. Like, it does seem a little weird because Rhea just came back and they figured things out, and Dom was easily side by side with Rhea, but I think that's why it made the most sense to turn Dom against Rhea at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
Because it would be unexpected. Like, it would be expected but unexpected.
Right.
Like, it was going to happen eventually, but I don't think anybody realized it was going to happen that quick.
See, I don't watch those YouTube people. It just makes me... Like, they always say, oh, this is going to happen, and most of the time it does. I don't like getting it spoiled.
It's not getting spoiled, it's just good predictions.
It's predictions. Yeah, I don't even want to mess with going on YouTube and
story-based predictions.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I can understand why you wouldn't like that, but...
But huge Dominic turn, and Liv Morgan and Dominic are together, which, I mean... I think is really cool. It wasn't getting old, Rhea and Dom. I mean, it was very much one of the key parts of the show.
But it refreshes the story
it definitely refreshes
putting Dom and Liv officially together.
I do want to say, Dominic is coming into his own. It's like,
bro,
he stepped out of the shadow of his
dad. Did you watch that Impulsive episode with Dom?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, that was
If you guys get the chance, take some time. Watch the most recent Impulsive podcast with Logan Paul and Dominic Mysterio. It is absolutely hilarious, and it's a great interview.
Yeah. Moving on, we have the Intercontinental Championship match between Sami Zayn defending against Braun Breaker. And, I don't know, I'm going to be honest.
I'm a little indifferent about it.
It wasn't a,
amazing
insane match. Yeah. It got what it needed to. Breaker winning. That's the only thing that really mattered. I think... More recently, since Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens won the tag team championships, at least for me, Sami Zayn in general has felt stale.
Yeah.
Like, I don't cheer for him.
It feels like ever since Roman left, all Sami's been built up for is to come back into the bloodline and be a part of the bloodline story. At least in my opinion. Because,
what do you mean?
You have, obviously, later down the line, something does happen. But, especially with Sami losing the title, you're going to have no direction for him other than...
I mean, he did have the rematch with Breaker on Raw.
Yeah.
He lost, though, didn't he?
He lost.
Yeah, I haven't watched that.
That's what I'm saying, now there's really no other direction other than there.
I think Jey Uso and Sami Zayn, they were saying tag team champions.
I think they'll become tag team champions, and then they'll pit them up against the bloodline.
Yeah.
Somehow Sami and Jey get traded to SmackDown or something.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I've kind of felt like Sami's been kind of stale. Even that Gunther match at WrestleMania, I wasn't cheering for him necessarily. I didn't care if he won, but it was just...
It was good. It was fun and good to see, but it was just one of those things do I really care?
Right. I mean, it was a great...
I mean, they didn't build up to it. I think that's part of why.
It was weird how... I mean, that entire match was weird how Sami hawked up. I mean,
I get it.
Yeah.
People love Sami, but I'm gonna switch it up a little bit. As much as I like Sami winning the title, and as much as I like Chad's character now, and I feel like if he would have won the IC title,
yeah,
I feel like his character wouldn't be where it's at today. I mean, it could have,
right,
but there would be no reason behind it. But I feel like things would have been more interesting if Chad Gable would have won the Intercontinental title.
Yeah,
and then have Breaker take the title off of Chad. But then you would have to have a face Breaker. That would be the issue.
Not necessarily.
I mean, not necessarily.
I mean, Triple H is really good at doing that.
I know, but
like Vince was not good at it.
I feel like it would be weird to have heel Breaker versus heel Gable.
See, I think it works because Breaker is the obvious favorite, and Gable can kind of play it off as, I'm the underdog in this situation.
Yeah,
and
I guess
honestly, people would cheer for Gable even if he is a heel.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to be honest, when he was facing Sammy, I was cheering for Gable. I was not cheering for Sammy. But yeah, I'm really excited if we do get Gable versus Breaker. And enough about Sammy. Breaker winning this match was so awesome, and I love that he finally got an Intercontinental Championship. And I mean, he just got on the main roster. He is getting a huge push. I love it.
Yeah.
Moving on, LA Knight versus Logan Paul. Yeah!
Yeah!
Oh my gosh. Logan Paul, when he jumped from the inside of the ring onto the top rope and did a backflip.
I thought he was going to break his neck.
Dude, I was authentically sports entertained.
Yes.
I was bamboozled. I was like, what the hell is going on? How did he even do that?
There are high flyers and wrestlers who have been in the business 20 plus years who can't do that kind of stuff.
Rey Mysterio, I'm sure can do that, but
the
way Logan Paul did
he did with such precision.
I mean,
like, it was nuts.
He is such a natural athlete, and I don't care if the Paul brothers are hated. They are
naturally gifted.
They are gifted for real.
I don't
even understand.
When it comes to entertainment in general, and when it comes to sports entertainment, no matter if it's the acrobatic or the physical side of things, or if it's the actual entertainment side, they are gifted. That is what they're meant to do.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Logan Paul's character, it's not a character, it's him, and he's just hated in general, which is a good thing.
Right.
He is perfect for wrestling. In real life, I wouldn't say he's a bad person necessarily, but he's definitely not somebody who is like a role model for kids.
Right.
But, man, regardless, he is meant for sports entertainment. It's insane. But LA Knight put on one hell of a show as well. He's gifted as well, athletically.
I think this was one of his best performances in his WWE main roster career.
Basically how the match went down, back and forth pretty well. That big spot by Logan. We got to where MGK came out from the crowd and tried to give Logan Paul the brass knucks.
Boo!
That failed horribly, BFT, and we got a new U.S. champ. Yes, we needed that. Logan Paul's, even if he is gifted and stuff, and I think they did it on purpose.
Yeah.
With him not defending it as much so he could get more heat. Yeah. But we needed a U.S. champ that's, going to be on the show.
And now you can push Logan Paul farther, even if he is a part-timer.
Right.
As much as it would be weird to see, I could see him down the line if Gunther holds, which this is going to be a spoiler for later on, if Gunther holds the world title later, then, which I think he's going to hold the whole year.
That's not a spoiler. It's been 2 weeks. If they don't already know, then they're not paying attention.
I could see them doing some sort of program between Paul and Gunther down the road, too. It might be a little difficult to pull off, but I feel like that would be a good feud.
It would be a good match. I don't think a feud, but a good one-off match like Roman versus Logan. Because I think it's not believable enough. Because Gunther's such a dominant force. He needs somebody.
But
he needs that wrestler.
Also, if Logan Paul is able to show out, that will say a lot about Logan Paul as well.
Well, I'm sure he would show out. Because every single match he's had is...
I'm not talking about match, though. I'm talking about on the mic and promos and stuff. If he's able to actually strut his stuff when it comes to being on the mic, that will show so much about him. Because Gunther's so good on the mic.
Really? I don't think Gunther's good on the mic.
I think he's gotten better. I think he's gotten better.
I think for his character, his mic skills are good enough, but I don't think he... I don't know. It just feels awkward when I watch his promos, I guess.
I think it's supposed to feel that way.
Yeah, I don't know. It always feels awkward to me.
I think he's more of the guy that shows backs up what he says in the ring more than trying to go one-on-one with somebody in a verbal battle.
Yeah. We had the next match, which I'm going to be honest, in my opinion, kind of. I mean, there's obviously a lot of great matches, but I kind of think it stole the show when it came to the actual performance between Nia Jax and Bayley.
Yeah, for sure. It was a lot. If I'm being honest, it was a lot better of a match than I expected. I expected it to be very base level, but there was some really good spots in this match.
And, I mean, I think Bayley's on that same level, for me at least, with Sami Zayn as, you know, their NXT run was so good that they're still trying to, you know, create that magic, and it's just not the same. So it kind of comes off a little stale to me.
Yeah.
I really like Bayley as a heel, especially... Like, if she's going to do a face gimmick, which I understand she's a veteran now, she's not going to be the lovable hugger, but it just comes off a little stale to me, so this was refreshing to see Nia Jax get the championship. And Nia Jax isn't somebody I've been a fan of, but she really showed that she's improved a lot.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I mean, not just in this match either. Since her return, she has proven that she's been... she doesn't injure
What's
people.
crazy is... I think not only has she improved in ring, she has improved so much on the mic.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I mean, character work, everything.
Like, yeah, she's still not great on the mic, and she never really has been great on the mic, but I don't think she has to be.
She doesn't have to be. Same thing as Gunther.
Yeah,
she's that powerful force that's going to back it up.
But she's improved so much.
That powerbomb by Bayley on Jax was obviously the highlight of that match.
Great work, like... Obviously, it was great work by Bayley, but that was great work by Nia to be able to make it look as clean as it was.
And then the end of the match, Jax basically, I think she hit her... I mean, obviously, Tiffany Stratton came out and created the distraction, teasing that, oh, is she going to cash in? But in reality, it was just a distraction, so Jax could pick up the victory.
Yeah.
But the end of the match consisted of Jax hitting, I think, was it like a huge power bomb? Then she went to the top or to the middle rope and did that bonsai drop, and then did a bonsai drop again.
I think so. That sounds right. I watched it live, but I don't remember much of like what happened in ring because, I mean, I was paying attention to that match, but it was only like bits and pieces that I actually remember.
One thing I'm really excited about isn't Shayna Baszler on SmackDown?
I think so.
I want to see Baszler versus Jax.
But now
that's a rivalry I want to see.
Stupid faction between Sonya, Zoe, and Shayna, the Pure Fusion Collective.
I actually haven't seen that.
Yeah, who came up with that name? Whoever came up with that name should be fired.
Isn't
that's a terrible name?
Okay, so it's DeVille.
It's DeVille, Stark, and Baszler are in a faction. They're called the Pure Fusion Collective.
That kind of just seems to me like they don't really know what to do with them.
Yeah. I like the idea of Sonya being a manager.
I will say
that's a good idea.
Baszler and Stark are a good team.
Yes.
Like, they have good chemistry.
The problem is Stark doesn't know who she's supposed to be.
Her character in general, ever since NXT,
what do you mean her character? She doesn't have a character.
Exactly.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm Zoe Stark, I'm bad. That's it. That's literally all there is to her character. I'm bad and I want revenge on people. That's literally all there comes to it. Baszler has a character. She's a MMA... I don't want to say legend, but she's strong for a lack of better term, she's an MMA...
Guru, kind of.
Guru, essentially, yeah.
I mean, she is a professional.
Like, that's her background, is she knows her way around. She knows how to submit people. She knows how to work around people and be able to find her way to win. Sonya, she's willing to play dirty. Like, she's always been known to know...
I do like the thought of the faction.
I like the thought of the faction.
I don't think those three have the chemistry, but they all do have a similar style. Obviously, DeVille and Baszler are MMA fighters. Stark is not an MMA fighter, but she has that same style.
She has a very similar style. But it's not the faction that ticks me off. It's the name. Like, who came up with that name? Like, you couldn't come up with anything better. What is Pure Fusion Collective? Like, it makes me think of when you had Cesaro, Nakamura, and Zayn together and called them the Artist Collective. But I liked that. That was cool. I think that fit. Because it was 3 different styles of 3 different stars who worked well together. And the artist collective fit who they were.
Yeah. This
one feels like, it's 3 close but different styles. Let's call them the Fusion Collective. Like, the name doesn't make sense.
In general, I don't like tag teams that are just thrown together. Like, Cesaro and Nakamura, when they were a tag team, yeah, they are great wrestlers. And they were a great team. They don't fit each other.
No.
Like...
You have to find people who fit well together.
I mean, dude, if we would have seen... I'm sure there has been a Cesaro-Nakamura match, but... Like, their chemistry together in the ring would be amazing.
Like, I know this is a dumb example, because, like, obviously they're going to work well together. Like, Jey Uso and Cody Rhodes. Good example. 2 people you put together... But they actually have good chemistry. And there's story behind it.
There's story behind Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, Cody Rhodes, Jey Uso, and who else?
Like, unlikely tag teams that come together that are not, like, official tag teams.
I mean, they're specifically together because of the bloodline, and they're not a tag team. They're
Randy Orton and Kevin Owens.
Yeah.
There you go. Another one, doesn't matter anymore because one of them's not in the WWE. Randy Orton and Matt Riddle. That's another one. Who would have ever thought the styles of Randy Orton and Matt Riddle would work so well together?
Yeah.
So, it works sometimes, but you have to have chemistry.
Yeah.
The trio of Baszler, Stark, and DeVille, it doesn't work well together.
See, I
feel like they're trying to force it.
I want them to stop putting Baszler in these shitty tag teams and actually give her that NXT kind of push.
She needs a women's title run, I think. Put her up against Nia. Reignite that feud. I'd love to see a Nia versus Shayna feud.
I mean, the history's there.
Yeah. The history's there. Shayna's improved so much since the last time that they were together. Nia's improved so much since then.
That's similar to Liv and Rhea, how they were former tag team champions and everything.
The story's there. Come on, WWE, work
it out. Give Baszler a push.
Hashtag push Baszler. We want Baszler.
I mean, I think they should have done more with Baszler and Rousey.
Rousey, no. Baszler, yes.
Well, I'm talking about their tag team, just because it was...
I mean, yeah.
Their styles are obviously
But what I've seen on Rousey and how she felt about a lot of things, I
don't really want her back in WWE.
I don't like her anymore. Because she was a selfish... I was about to use a word I don't use very often. I'm not going to. She was a selfish person, for a lack of a better term.
Yeah.
She was a terrible person.
Yeah. I mean, she had the star power, obviously, but that was just because of her MMA. She didn't do anything in wrestling that was worth, other than the Triple Threat WrestleMania match. That was worth really acknowledging. Maybe Baszler and Rousey's team, but even then, that was kind of a blunder. We expected so much out of that, and it was nothing. Their women's tag team division in general is just full of...
It's not even.
It's just full of random people put together.
It's not even a division. They literally put... They put Kyrie and Io together just to make a tag team.
No, that's good, though. I like that.
No, I'm not saying that that's a bad tag team. I'm saying they had to go to the lengths of being like, okay, we're pulling you from Damage Control so you can be a tag team, so we have a reliable tag team to put into the tag title picture.
Yeah.
And they didn't even win, so it doesn't even matter. That's a stupid thing. You pull what's the word for it? A reliable tag team like Io and Kyrie, who have been a reliable tag team before, into a tag title match against Stark and Baszler.
Yeah.
And you have nobody win, essentially.
That 2019 women's tag team division was so good. You had Bayley and Sasha. You had
They're never the
Iconics. You had
hot take.
What?
They're never going to have anything like that again. I doubt it.
Yeah.
Vince ruined it.
See,
Vince
they need to
and John Laurinaitis ruined that.
They need to have tag teams that are legitimate. They're tag teams before they were singles wrestlers, like the Iconics. They're not they're not single stars. They're a tag team. You don't have that in the women's tag team division.
Another great tag team you had of two people who are never, honestly, like, I don't want to say cohesive, but you didn't see a lot together. Sasha and Naomi.
Yeah,
right
that was a
before
good
they
tag team.
left. They were an amazing tag team. They worked so well together. But who ruined that? Vince and John Laurinaitis.
Yeah.
Would not boost the women's tag division. So they said, guess what? We're out.
I don't think Triple H has done a lot with the women's tag team division.
And
that's one thing
and I
that he
understand
hasn't
that.
done right.
Like, I totally get that, and I agree. He hasn't done much. But I don't think Vince really contributed to that either.
Oh, yeah.
So
definitely.
he's the one that caused the downfall. Triple H is just burying the hatchet even farther.
Moving on, we have, after the Jax Bailey match, Drew McIntyre versus CM Punk,
Oh
which
my
was the...
goodness.
I mean, obviously, everybody knew this was happening before, like, at Royal Rumble, we were like, yeah, Punk's gonna... This is gonna be
He's going to
the
come back.
headliner.
He's going to feud with Drew.
This is gonna be the headliner of SummerSlam, and we had Seth Rollins as the guest referee, which was an added surprise, but I
don't think it was a surprise. I mean, it was, but the fact that Seth Rollins got involved in the feud is not a surprise. Because I think they're building for something with all three of them later down the road.
I'm just saying, like, we already knew that was going to happen.
Yeah,
we didn't expect Rollins to be the referee. But it works out because, you know, Drew and Rollins have their history. And, you know, when Punk debuted, you had the two guys who didn't like him immediately, Rollins and Drew. Yeah. So this match was... I mean, it was the most storytelling match out of this entire card. It was really good.
Every move they did told a story. I think you don't get that a lot.
It felt AEW-esque.
Yeah.
Legitimately.
Like, WWE doesn't do a lot of, like, every move that they do and everything that they do tells a story within the match.
Like the look.
Like you said.
The look that Punk gives Rollins at times is like... I mean, you can see it. That you don't get that in the other matches, which... This was such a good card because it was so mixed up. But, yeah, we basically had Drew control most of the match, obviously, because Punk is a skinny little weasel. But, and Seth Rollins kind of just, being the referee, let things slide more than other referees would.
I expected that.
Right.
That was expected.
Yeah, and he kind of didn't really care if he screwed over Punk or Drew. But the end of the match basically happened where Punk seen that Seth Rollins had the bracelet on after taking it off of Drew. And he only picked it up and put it on.
Yeah, I was about to say, Rollins was trying to explain himself. He was like, I was just trying to pick it up to get it out of the way so it didn't get lost.
Yeah, and Punk kind of screws himself and ends up...
giving a GTS to Seth.
Which opens up for Drew to hit the Claymore. And obviously Drew wins this, which I was... Before this match even happened, when the story was being brought up, it was being brought up that Punk was the face and Drew was the heel. I hated... Like, when Drew McIntyre got the World Championship taken from him at WrestleMania because Punk screwed him over, and the fans are cheering Punk, I don't know if I'm the only... Like, if me and my friend circle are the only people that were like... what is going on? Why is Punk getting cheered?
We were together when we actually watched the WrestleMania 40 together, and so we pretty much had the same reaction. We were like, "What in the world?"
Yeah,
I like Punk. I've always been a fan of Punk, but in this situation, I'm like, why?
Yeah,
like there was.
It builds
heat.
Revenge.
Yeah, I understand that it was a revenge tactic, and it builds heat against Punk. I get it, but everybody wanted Drew to win the world title at WrestleMania.
Which it's just the heat of it, you know.
Yeah, and I get that.
We're not gonna like everything, and it does work out, and I'm so happy that Drew won. If Punk would have won, I would have been pissed.
Yeah, I don't think
Drew needed the win.
So
because obviously. He's going to be the next world champion.
Yeah, he's probably going to beat Gunther.
I would bet he beats Gunther.
I'm calling probably, I would say, either like Survivor Series or WrestleMania. I think one of those two, you have Drew and Gunther feud, and Drew takes the title off of him.
And speaking of Gunther, we're moving on. Gunther versus Priest, which was... It was a good match. The moves weren't... anything spectacular. Just two big guys.
There's a huge chopping fest between Priest and Gunther, and that was intense, but that was good. I like that. That was not something you expect out of Priest, because Priest is very, he's very brutal, and he's very, to the point with a lot of his moves.
Yeah.
But you usually don't see him getting into, those kind of hitting or chopping fests.
Yeah, because everybody else he's facing is J.D. McDonough-esque guys who...
Tiny guys he can just literally throw around.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it.
But man, this was a good match. Gunther... It did make him look a little weak with how he would have lost if it wasn't for Balor.
Yeah.
I do think it did make him look a little weak, which... It's also a little weird for that to happen after the Randy Orton match at King of the Ring.
Yeah.
With him, not getting the 3 count.
Yeah.
He didn't get that 3 count. But it still counted. So it does make him look a little weak, but it's Gunther, so it's kind of...
Right.
It's kind of like... he's not weak. So he needs...
Of course not.
His next match, he needs to win clean, fair, square, and dominant. Against Randy Orton at Bash in Berlin.
Which I'm honestly excited for.
I'm very happy that...
They're playing this back.
I'm happy that, you have this trilogy of guys that are top stars. I'm happy that we got King of the Ring, Orton versus Gunther, and now once Gunther's world champion, we get this with Orton.
I like the continuity that Triple H is doing here. He's going back to that whole, you didn't pin me clean and all this kind of stuff. As much as, sometimes people tend to hate that kind of stuff, why they have to trail back to this, they can do it later on. In this sense, doing it this quick, I think is good. A lot of people were mad that Randy Orton lost. I understand why, and we don't have to go into that now. But I understand why he lost, and I think it was better for Gunther to win. He needed his time as world champion, and it's here.
Yeah,
and now you can
if he doesn't beat him clean, it's gonna be
it's gonna be pointless. This match is literally pointless if he doesn't win clean.
It's okay to have it a couple times, but if he...
We don't need another Roman Reigns situation where every match is bloodline interferes.
Right. But yeah, we had Gunther... He was going to get beaten, and then Finn Balor basically turned on Priest to get Priest to lose the championship. He put Gunther's leg on the rope as he was getting the pinfall. Yeah. But, bro, this was great.
That evil grin that Balor had after he put his leg on the rope. I was like, bro.
I'm happy that they did this at the same time.
I think they had to.
Where you have Dom turn, plus you have Balor turn.
I think you had to. It wouldn't have made any sense storyline-wise if you would have had Dom turn but not Finn.
Yeah.
I don't think you would have been able to do it at any other time. Yeah. So I think that was smart by WWE. I'm glad they did it. Because now you take Balor from being bottom of the totem pole, because that's basically, he's been almost the least important.
He's been the tag team champion of the group.
Other than Carlito, he's been one of the least important, other than Carlito and JD, he's been one of the least important members.
Yeah, he hasn't had
Judgment Day. He hasn't had any sort of big storyline.
He hasn't had a huge match probably since the
Seth Rollins Finn Balor match for the World Heavyweight Championship.
Even then, I'm thinking that was still Priest. Getting involved with that. I'm talking about Edge versus
that's what I was about to
Balor.
say. Edge versus Balor
at WrestleMania, Hell in a Cell. Which was, that was amazing.
That was a great match, but it was a little bit scary.
I still remember that ladder spot where he got hit in the face and they had to stop the match for a second. Yeah. I loved that was such a great match. I'm ready for Balor to...
But, like I was saying...
What?
I love how they were able to take him from being bottom of the totem pole to now he's one of the top people right now.
Oh, yeah.
Because they put him in this hot feud against Damian.
I mean, you have those guys where it doesn't matter what they're doing. You know, if they are put on a tag team match at the beginning of the show, they'll deliver. And if they're put on the main event, they'll deliver. I
think Finn Balor is honestly one of those people.
Oh, yeah.
I think he was
100%.
underutilized at first, but now... I think this is a perfect time you could lead into something great. You could go back into him having a title run at some point. Obviously not anytime soon, because I think this Judgment Day feud's going to draw out a little bit.
I do need to say, though, Priest has come into his own.
Oh, my goodness.
Since he won the tag team championships with Balor, it's been great.
Right.
He won the Money in the Bank. It was getting there. And then he won the tag team champions. It was getting there. When he won the world championship, man, he was there. And now he's on a different. This is one of the only occasions where losing a world championship has
benefited.
It has skyrocketed him even more because he's a face now, and he's a legitimate fan favorite now.
Yeah, it's crazy.
For me personally.
I love Damian Priest now. Like, I used to love Damian Priest when he was in NXT and at his start of the main roster run. But, like, that in-between time where they didn't know what they were doing, I was just like...
I liked the hype when he was in NXT because he was Punishment Martinez, and I had heard about him before. When he had his United States Championship run... Me and you were there. Extreme Rules 2021 versus Sheamus and Hardy.
Oh my God,
that match. I loved that match.
I loved it, but it was also a bad match.
But Priest, it was a great match, but Priest he botched so many times.
Yeah,
and he still botches.
That's what I meant by a bad match. I didn't mean like the actual match was bad. It was just there was so many botches by each superstar. It was like, ooh.
Yeah,
but he's gotten so much better.
Yeah, for sure. But moving on, we got Cody versus Solo Sikoa as the main event for the other world championship, and yeah, this was a good match. I think Solo Sikoa is really coming into his own too.
Yeah,
he's been that guy where he had the hype when he came from NXT. But he's lost so many times because he was the fall guy of the Bloodline.
He was like 0-34 against LA Knight or something like that.
He was the fall guy because you had the New Day, the Usos, where they were gonna keep their championships. Roman, Usos versus New Day. Come on. But Roman kept his championship. Obviously, we knew that was gonna happen. He had to be the fall guy. Now that he's the leader of the new Bloodline, even though obviously he's a fake tribal chief, he's really coming into his own. But this match was pretty good. And this was Bloodline rules, by the way, so it was no disqualification.
We expected there to be some shenanigans.
Yeah, Cody was laying it on thick, and Solo was laying it on thick too, and then obviously Cody's about to win, and you have Tama Tonga, Jacob Fatu. They came in, obviously.
Started beating him up.
Yeah, and we had it to where...
I thought there was going to be... Bro, Arn Anderson made me mad because...
Oh, I love that spot.
I love the confrontation. I love seeing Arn Anderson, but he said, I made a couple of calls, and there's some people from outside that all you have to do is say the word, and they'll come and help you. I'm like, oh, they're bringing in Dustin Rhodes. I thought they for sure were going to bring in Dustin Rhodes to come help Cody.
Yeah, they play up Cody about to get help, and then it's always Randy Orton and Kevin Owens.
No. Not even just help. Like, getting help from outside companies.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, they're going to do it. No, it's literally KO, Randy, and then somebody later on.
It's not a bad thing, but...
It's not a bad thing, but it definitely... brought down the match a little bit for me.
We need to see Dustin in WWE before he retires.
Yes.
As one more match with Cody.
I want him. Yeah.
We need that before, especially because we had Dustin and Cody in AEW. Cody Rhodes is on a completely different level. Everybody hated him in AEW. Now he is the star. He is the biggest babyface other than LA Knight, you know?
I think sooner or later Dustin's going to change his mind about being in AEW and he'll come to WWE. I hope he does.
I'm pretty sure he already has. AEW is kind of going down the drain.
Yeah.
But, anyway, with this match, Jacob Fatu.
Why are you saying Fatu? It's Fatu.
Because he's fat.
He's not fat.
Okay, fine.
He's burly.
Fine. Yeah, he is burly.
The dude's broad and is just a beast.
But anyway, Cody Rhodes takes care of Tama Tonga, Tongaloa, and then we have Jacob Fatu make up the difference. Huge splash for the announcer table, which injured him.
No, it didn't. It was kayfabe. No, that's kayfabe.
Oh, okay.
I'll explain it after we're done talking about it because it does tie in with something that happens later.
And then obviously the biggest moment of SummerSlam, which was everywhere, Roman Reigns' huge return. Which was, I mean, I'm actually willing to say maybe Cody isn't the biggest babyface. Maybe Roman is. Is he still a heel?
No, he's classified as a babyface right now.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe he's a tweener because
I think they're showing him as a tweener right now, but he actually, like, you know how on the website they split it between babyface and heels, who's supposed to be what? Apparently, he's registered as a babyface on the website. So I think that's what they're aiming for, but I think they're starting him out as a tweener, just to kind of, like, build things up. I view him as a babyface because he attacked Solo, because Solo is viewed as one of the top heels right now. I think it makes him mostly a babyface, but he's kind of playing a tweener role right now.
Yeah.
Where, like, he's telling Cody Rhodes, like, not after so long, I'm going to come back for my title. You know that. But I think they're building him up to become a babyface.
Yeah, I'm ready for this Survivor Series
Bloodline feud, and then I think we see at WrestleMania Gunther versus McIntyre and Roman versus Cody 3. I don't think it's Roman versus Cody 3. I just don't. I think it's going to be Randy versus Cody, and then you do Roman Rock.
I don't think
41.
we see anything else. Oh, well, yeah, Rock versus Roman would be the big
I
thing.
think if you don't do Rock Roman now, you're not going to do it.
Yeah.
You have to do it now, because Rock...
Especially with the Bloodline feud, Rock comes back during Survivor Series, build up on Royal Rumble.
Because I initially thought the same thing, too. I was like, Roman Cody 3.
But we need to have it. We need to have it.
Yes, I was just about to get to that. I'm like, we do need to have Roman Cody 3 at some point. I just don't think it happens at WrestleMania, because you have a big feud with Rock Roman, and then you have a feud everybody's been clamoring for in Randy versus Cody eventually down the line. I think that would be a great WrestleMania feud.
Gunther versus Drew, Randy versus Cody, which would be great. And then Rock versus Roman, if obviously Rock permits it. But John Cena.
We'll see.
We need to talk about John Cena.
Yes.
John Cena for WrestleMania. Do you have it be Randy versus Cena or Cody versus Randy?
I think because
there has to be a John Cena match at WrestleMania since this is the last one.
It's so hard to tell because you're like, Randy versus Cody is going to be a huge feud. Huge feud.
Yeah.
Like, probably biggest feud of the summer.
There has to be Randy versus Cena before Cena retires.
It has to be Randy versus Cena. And the big question that's being asked, will Cena win his 17th world title?
Nah.
I think yes.
I don't think he will.
Do you know how long they've been trying to brush Ric Flair from the record books? A while.
Well, Triple H is in charge. It's not... I mean, I would like to see...
I would rather... Well, I mean, you could always put it on Randy, because Randy is also very close.
I don't know. I don't think it matters. I don't think it matters if Cena wins the title or not. And honestly...
I would rather see him win the title, to be honest.
Well, if he does, what is he going to do with it?
I don't know.
He's not going to do anything with it other than lose it the next night or something.
Yeah, I don't know, but
it would just be doing it to break the record, which would be, obviously in kayfabe acting like, this is real. Cena...
If I'm being honest with how long Randy's expecting to last, I think if you don't pull the trigger with Cena, you absolutely need to pull the trigger with Randy.
He would need 3 more world championships, though.
But he's planning to be in WWE for at least another 5 years.
5 years? Until he's 50?
Yeah.
Well...
I'm just saying. I think the record, they're planning on it getting broken. And please, WWE, don't let Charlotte Flair break the record. She's already close. I would hate that. Though. I would hate that. Because that's stupid.
What is she at, 14?
She's at 14. 14.
That is insane that Randy Orton's at 14 and he's had a 20-year career and
she's only been 15, in the WWE for freaking 6 years.
6 years?
I'm pretty sure she debuted in like 2018.
No, she didn't.
Yes,
Charlotte?
she did.
2018?
On the main roster.
What are you talking about? 2015.
Oh yeah, that is true. I don't remember her from the 2015.
No,
I didn't watch a lot of her stuff.
She's the one that got the Divas Championship and then changed it to the women's at WrestleMania 32, 2016. So she's been in, I think she was in NXT maybe 2014. But she's been in WWE for about 10 years, so for her to have the same amount as somebody who's been in it for 25,
9 years
maybe,
versus 20 years.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Yeah, it is.
I think she does deserve it, in a way. I think she's worked her butt off for
I think you don't have her win anymore for like 5 years, and then
I think you give her a break.
Like that.
I think she wins the world title.
Imagine, dude, oh my god, when she returns, it's going to be huge.
She's going to win the world title.
Because
I mean, literally, that's
how it happens every time.
That's what happens every time she comes back. She comes back from injury, you have to give her the title.
But we do got to talk about this. The Raw after SummerSlam, we seen the new lineup for the Judgment Day, which is Dominic and Liv.
Carlito was one in
Carlito,
the divorce.
JD, and Finn Balor. Which, obviously, after Rhea and Damian out, I just thought it'd be nice to... I liked that lineup. They showed it on the screen when Damian came out and Finn Balor called him out and everything.
Yeah.
I like that lineup. But we also got to talk about that segment on Raw after SummerSlam. You had Punk, Drew, and...
Seth.
Yeah, and Seth. And Bronson Reed. CM Punk goes into the crowd trying to go after Drew because he still has his bracelet. And Bronson Reed...
comes out of absolutely nowhere.
Dude, this is how you make somebody. He's been in the mid-card for far too long. It is time.
Big boy!
6 tsunamis. Seth Rollins coughing up blood. That is how you make somebody.
Seth Rollins is
for
expected.
real, you have like 10 or 15 guys out there. What the hell are they going to do to Bronson Reed?
Everybody's like, I love Michael Cole. Oh my goodness, the calls by Michael Cole during this segment. I love it. Somebody get him out of there or something. You're hurting him. You're going to kill him.
Yeah, that was crazy. 6 tsunamis. I am excited for Bronson Reed versus Seth Rollins.
And apparently what I've seen is, unfortunately, Seth Rollins has been dealing with more chronic injury issues. And it does not look good for Seth. So, yeah.
Well, you already know. It doesn't matter if doctors tell him
yeah,
you can never wrestle again.
I understand
He's
that.
One of those guys that has
I'm just saying, like, he's not expected to be on
just
TV
like
for a
Edge
while.
and Daniel Bryan. He's one of those guys that has the passion that no matter what, he's coming back.
Right, and I understand that. I'm just saying, like...
Yeah, that does suck, though.
He's probably going to be off TV for a while.
The main event of Raw after SummerSlam was the Wyatt Six debut against the newly named American Made, which is a great name for Gable and the Creed brothers.
For sure. I actually didn't get to watch this match.
This match was really good. I mean, I did kind of find it a little weird that they call them by different names. They call, obviously, Eric Rowan, what is it? Who is he? The Rabbit?
Rambling Rabbit.
Yeah. They don't call them by those names. They call them the actual names that they were before.
Eric
Joe
Rowan,
Gacy, Dexter Loomis, Eric Rowan. But,
well, I think it would be stupid if they called him, here's Rambling Rabbit, here's Huskus the Pig.
Well, they call Bo Dallas Uncle Howdy.
Because it's a separate entity.
And do they call Nikki Cross Nikki Cross? I don't think they do. I'm not sure.
No, they don't.
They call her the Witch.
But she also hasn't revealed her identity either.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, I don't really know, but that's the beauty of this.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of every single thing that Bray Wyatt, that has came from Bray Wyatt's mind, that you don't know.
Yeah, right.
And it's always going to be a mystery. And it's also, they were mentioning on commentary, Eric Rowan being the only one from the original Wyatt family to also be in the Wyatt Six, which is kind of, it's
awesome.
legendary. But yeah, Wyatt Six, basically, they showed out. You got to go watch it. You gotta go watch it. I'm not going to talk anymore about it. You gotta watch it. It's amazing.
Who do you think is going to be the dark horse, like, of that group that's going to be like, ooh?
Joe Gacy really reminds me of Bray Wyatt. Like, yeah. I'm talking about heavy.
Yeah.
Like, everything about him. His look, the way he presents himself, the way he talks, everything. I think every single one of them are the piece of the puzzle that makes it whole.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? I don't think there's going to be a specific guy who's like, better than the other.
No,
and
that's not what I mean by who you think is going to be the dark
Joe
horse.
Gacy.
That's who you think is going to be. I think either Joe Gacy or Dexter Lumis.
Well,
I think Dexter Lumis is, like, even in this short amount of time, I think
Eric
showing
Rowan's
a lot of good work.
Eric Rowan's never going to be world champion. He's that supporting character.
I think this time with the White Six, I think it's shown he doesn't have to be.
Yeah, he doesn't have to.
Because I think he's one of the better storytellers that they have. The dude, like,
he's just a supporting character, which is amazing.
But at the same time, like, the dude still can tell a really good story throughout his matches. I don't think he needs to have a world title.
Oh no, definitely not.
Because I think him and Bo are in close to the same boat. Like, don't necessarily need to hold a world title just because they can hold great matches. They can tell great stories. Like,
I'm interested to see how Bo's going to look when he actually wrestles. If he's going to keep the mask on, because I don't think he should. I know he has before.
I think he's going to do. I don't know.
Because they don't wrestle with their masks.
Yeah, I know. I think he'll wrestle. I feel like he's going to wrestle in, like, a singlet or something like that.
Yeah, I don't think he should wrestle with his mask on.
No, I think it would be better.
I think it should just be face paint. Because he has face paint under the mask. I think that paint should just be that. But
yeah, I agree.
I don't know. We're kind of just rambling because we love the Wyatt Six. This idea.
Yeah.
It's just...
Keep doing it, WWE. Just keep doing it.
Dexter Lumis with the extensions looks amazing.
His look reminds me a lot of The Fiend.
And he has these black circles around his crystal blue eyes, which just makes it... That can kind of sound gay, but... but it looks amazing. But the SmackDown after SummerSlam, Kevin Owens... It's now known that Kevin Owens is going to be fighting Cody Rhodes at Bash in Berlin, which I'm excited for.
Which KO was like, no. Yeah, I can't do this. I'm not worthy.
But then once he learned that Roman Reigns was the next guy up,
hold up, wait a minute, no.
He went off on all this.
I mean, I totally get that I don't deserve it, but Roman, he just came back. He doesn't deserve a shot. Just give it to me. I'll take it.
We did have.
I love Kevin Owens.
We had a couple of like number one contenders matches.
Yeah.
I didn't finish this SmackDown, so there's not a whole lot else to talk about. But there was Street Profits versus A-Town Down, which was 5 minutes.
I don't think I got to watch that.
It sucked. It was 5 minutes. It was a nothing match. It was a number one contender filler. But
probably just
Profits won.
Kind of show off the Profits after officially Bobby Lashley has left.
He's left WWE.
He's gone.
That sucks.
Well, I don't blame him. He hated Triple H's booking. He's admitted that.
He hasn't done anything with him.
Yeah, he said he prefers Vince McMahon over Triple H.
Yeah, that sucks. Lashley's one of my favorites.
And MVP left too, by the way. MVP and Bobby Lashley.
That sucks for Omos, because I don't think Omos works without a manager. And MVP was his perfect guy.
Yeah. We'll see if they figure something out, though.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if Omos doesn't go back either, because he's been doing really good on YouTube as well. He has his own little YouTube channel.
We had Jade Cargill versus Alba Fire.
Pointless,
and kind of makes the tag team champions who just beat them look weak. I mean, I get that, Alba Fire and Isla Dawn, as a tag team, are better than Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill.
Right. Because they have chemistry.
In singles competition, yeah, maybe not, but at the same time, for her to lose in 5 minutes, honestly, after having that NXT UK Women's Championship run, she needs to have a better
honestly,
match.
at this point, just put Jade Cargill in. I understand she might not be ready, but, what's the point in not putting her into the world title picture if you're just going to do this kind of garbage?
I don't know. Honestly, I think that Cargill doesn't work as a face.
I don't think she works as well as a face as she would as a heel.
I think for now, obviously, I think they're building up to Bianca and Cargill. So obviously, for her to be a face, she needs to be a face for this little amount of time.
And then once the time comes, then you turn her heel.
Yeah, but I'm just excited for that heel turn,
for
Bianca
sure.
versus Cargill.
Because her heel run in AEW, even though it was kind of crappy, in my opinion, because Tony Khan didn't do a good job with it, I think. But I think her heel run, for what it was pretty darn good.
I think Tony Khan did a good thing with the undefeated streak, which...
I think he just went about it in the wrong way, to be honest.
It inadvertently built up a star for WWE.
Yeah, honestly. Yeah, that's true.
But anyway, we did have LA Knight have his U.S. Championship celebration. Santos Escobar
Boo.
interrupted. But, yeah, I didn't care for that. But then Santos versus Andrade.
That match, yeah. I was just about to say.
Number one contender for this.
Boo! Andrade should have won.
He lost?
I hate Santos. Yes.
Oh, my God.
WWE is stupid.
Santos... I mean, he's lost to LA Knight so many times, there's no point.
I'm like, you could have done... Even though it would have been face versus face, you could have done a fresh match against... And imagine how good that match would be. Andrade versus LA Knight.
Right.
I feel like that would be a really good match.
Yeah.
Because they're both very acrobatic. I feel like their styles mesh really well together, even though they're like totally two different styles. I feel like they could figure out something to mesh together. But Santos, really? Really? You haven't done crap with Legado. And you're like, oh yeah, we're just going to give a US title shot to Santos.
Yeah, Legado needs...
I mean, I get it. Because they're building up Carmelo Hayes versus Andrade. I get it. You want to keep that going. But you want to make Andrade look like a star.
They should have done it where Andrade versus LA Knight and then Santos versus Carmelo Hayes. Whoever wins that match then gets the next shot against LA Knight.
I
don't think Andrade beats LA Knight.
I think Carmelo... This is a side tangent. I think Carmelo eventually is the one that beats LA Knight.
I'd like to see that.
I think that's how it works out. I think either you find a way to get Andrade to become U.S. champ, or you do it with Carmelo, which I'd rather do Carmelo because I feel like it would be a better fit.
I think Andrade, his U.S. championship run was really good.
Yeah.
And
I think it was just at the wrong...
You need to have him win again so he can defend it against Rey Mysterio.
Yeah, I think it was a good reign and a good choice to make him U.S. champion. I think it was just at the wrong time.
I think the fact that Legado del Fantasma has no credibility behind them because they lose their matches...
Right, which is what I was talking about.
I think that makes Santos look weaker.
Right, which is like... that's why I was like, I don't understand why they had Santos win.
Yeah.
Because Andrade's built up credibility facing Carmelo and winning these past couple matches, being in Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
He's built up so much credibility, and you're just like, nope, we're doing Santos, even though he hasn't done jack squat in the last couple months. Let's get him in the shot. I'm like,
yeah,
I don't want to see it. We know LA Knight's going to win. He faces Andrade. It's like, yeah, there's a slight chance that Andrade could win, but you know with Santos, there's no chance. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
I don't know. SmackDown hasn't been that great lately.
They need
Bloodline.
Yeah, they need to have some credibility behind the challengers because
it's just unfortunate.
I think, like, I don't know, Triple H with his the storytelling and everything's good. The challengers behind the champions are missing credibility. Like
most of the time, yes.
AJ Styles versus Cody, great match. You know AJ's not winning.
Right. But it's still a great match. Like I feel like that's one of those matches that doesn't necessarily need credibility because AJ is so much of a star.
Right.
You know that they're going to
But that's just an example.
And you know they're going to build a decent story, even if they did do the Mark Henry segment. You know that they're going to do a great job and that they're going to build things up pretty well.
Yeah.
That's why that worked. But Santos and LA Knight, they've had matches before. LA Knight's beaten them every time. And on top of that, they haven't done anything with Legado.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make any sense and there's no credibility. So I don't get it. But we'll see. Because SmackDown's on tonight, so we'll see what comes out of it.
Okay, guys, we are headed out of here. Stay tuned for the next episode. Not sure when that's going to be, but just stay tuned.
We'll let you know.
I hope you enjoyed this, and we'll see you in the next one.
Peace.
Up in it, bitch, we tryna get higher. Put it back, that cooking the rack, me eating that pack of bonus stopper, holding it down, pull up in the primary rip, that just stop faking the cat. Yeah, killing the trapper, coming back, I'll break the loose, keep up in the track. I'm feeling the beachy, burning, healing, marking the tie, beam, baking street. Don't clap in the sea, air track and pee, I'm master love, but feet deep. I'm switching my game, take passion, even with my shot, no line to see.